Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teaches Noob. Today I have with me Pika.
Hey.
And today we're going over a book we mentioned last time that Pika was on, although clearly want to clear up one little misconception. This came out before Man of Steel, so Man of Steel was not a driving force in this book, but you could still tell there was a change in how Millar handled things. And what we're going over Superior that he did was Lionel Francis Yu. Now, one thing I want to point out, I do actually have a physical copy of it. So I want to make it because you can barely see the View comic stuff on the bottom. There's no digital version of it I can find. Just want to make that very clear. But yeah, this marked a change in Millar. Up until this point, you had stuff like Nemesis. Oh God, Nemesis! I don't know if you saw my Pro Teaches Noobs on that one.
Yeah, I was on the chat there. That's where you suggested that I join you for this one.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, this is like the complete tonal opposite of everything. It still has its edge, but okay, think about what Millar has been known for by this point. Everyone's an asshole. Even the parents are assholes. There's always some alternative meeting. He's always trying to subvert expectations to the detriment.
Yeah.
This
they also wanted.
Yeah. So but this is clearly done as a love letter to Christopher Reeves, very much so, in his movies. You know, a lot of stuff.
That's probably why the kid is in a wheelchair.
Well, you'll see a bit more about the kid. There's also a lot of Shazam in this. We open up in New York City with a Susie Lee, and she doesn't really matter, but we're seeing this giant, this mechanized enemy, Abraxas, who is basically one of Superior's arch enemies, him and the Annihilator, and she is supposed to be the Lois Lane type in the fictional stories. But yep, at first she thinks he's dead, but good thing that was only a rental. Impossible, not in my vocabulary. And yeah, basically even says how he is completely indestructible from top to bottom. Even throw him into a volcano wouldn't do it. But then the Annihilator, the being that destroyed his planet, is there joining with him. As we see the kids two kids are watching it all. Of course, they're like, the effects are okay, but Superior's been around since my papa was a kid. I'm kind of bored with these superheroes. Of course, when he leaves, they're saying stuff like, I'm not saying his powers aren't cool. He's just too much of a Boy Scout for people these days. They need to make him a bit more badass like Bond or Jason Bourne. Seriously? I always like the fact that Superior doesn't kill people. Being a nice guy is what makes him different to Wolverine and all that stuff. So yeah, Superior 5. Telling you that's already one more movie than Superman at that time.
That's probably some kind of, if there had been a continuated movie after Quest for Peace or something like that. I think Christopher Reeve, some interviews resurfaced, or some people said that they were pointed out some services that Reeve wanted to have Superman or Clark Kent evolve as a character more from what he was portrayed. But that actually also flies a little face to the fact that he wrote Quest for Peace.
Yeah, exactly. I do not think there's any truth to that. I think some people are claiming that, or those who just want to try and defeat the comparison the Snyderverse had to it by trying to say, Reeve wanted to change it.
Or just evolve, or not stay stagnant or static, or something like that. But more or less, isn't it that it was probably a Millar work that was it in Kingsman where they spoke about the quality of a hero is also matched up with a kind of villain is also
Millar always brings that up. But yeah, so the kid in the wheelchair, his name is Simon, and the bullies, and we're dealing with one of the bullies named Sharpay is the bully, and being very homophobic, saying stuff, hey hobos, have a nice time making out in the back row. just because he's the one good friend that's still hanging out with, and his one friend is the only one still hanging out with him after, well, we'll get to what happened to him. Basically just mocking him, but showing that Simon's not a pushover. He's like, you're an asshole, Sharpie, and you've always been an asshole. If I wasn't in the chair, I'd kick your ass all over the mall. Yeah, well, I got news for you, Simon. You kind of are in that chair. But there's his mom. What's going on here? Leave it, Mom. They aren't worth the trouble. Idiots. Don't they have anything better to do? Now, normally in Millar's stuff, the parents would be like, why did you do that? What did you do to cause them to be bothering you? No, here she's like, assholes. Leave them alone. Now, of course, the artwork gets a little creepy there on that last panel.
Yeah, that kind of what kind of emotion or a thought is running through that? That's like looking into something or being momentarily possessed or
yep, yeah, his friend Chris
having some kind of PTSD flashbacks of something.
Yep, but we find out, well, he used to be a very good kid at everything. He had a positive future with sports until it turns out he had a bad case of multiple sclerosis at a young age. Started out small, and everything. They hoped it wouldn't be that bad. Turns out he's got a point where it's his entire body, and he's pretty much blind in one eye. And there are some days where he can't even say his name properly. And basically showing that he's in this, like, he had it all originally. He had it all. He was ready to go to the top. And now look at him. Can't even go to the bathroom without needing help.
Oh yeah. That's kind of like that reminds me that one episode of Archer with those where Reeve was in.
Yeah.
Between paralyzed and having robot legs.
Yep. Or kind of like, I guess there's the Shazam parallel, even though even now it's for different reasons, of course, but kind of like Freddy.
Yeah, Freddy is.
But Freddy's nowhere near as bad. His was caused in the comics anyway by Shazam. And Shazam felt guilty for it. Of course, but yeah, he was never that bad. But then we see then this space monkey come up for him. Wake up, Simon. There's something I need to talk to you about. I'm here to make you a serious proposition. Holy shit! Mom, Dad, there's a monkey in my room. Simon, for God's sake. And get away from me. What the hell's going on? How are you even talking? Whoosh. You have my word. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're a million miles from home, so there's no sense for calling for help. Basically, he's telling how you were selected one of 6 billion for the gift, the magic wish. And thus, he's made into superior. Go back home. Like, all will be explained in 1 week. So he's basically given 1 week of being superior. But then when he wakes up, apparently some time has passed because his mom's already worried and called the cop. Of course, and then we get a little bit of Big. There's a bit of Big in there.
Yeah. I saw it probably many years ago and know it by reputation, but I do recognize the parallel.
Yeah, there is very much a Big parallel here. So it's basically Shazam mixed with Big and Christopher Reeve's Superman. But he took out, like, of course, what the hell? So he goes to see his friend Chris, and they're saying still no word, but then open the window, Chris. You got to help me. I think I'm in deep shit. And that was the first issue. Of course, much like Big, the kid and Big's, his friend freaks out until he knocks him down, of course.
Yeah, use knowledge that only the friend would know.
Actually, we don't even see that whole thing. It just simply covers him out like, what are you going to do? Get us both killed? I don't know if there was any one thing that finally convinced Chris of his validity. There is a narrator. We won't know who the narrator is until the final issue. But it's not.
That's a good framing device and something of an incentive in making you go forward with and wanting to something that you want to learn in going and learn when it's revealed.
Yep, I love it. Oh, to be 12 years old again. Yeah, but in the end, I guess he was young enough to accept that strange things happen. And sometimes your best friend really does come flying through your bedroom window. Oh, to be 12 years old again. So clearly it's an adult.
Mm.
But yeah, they're basically, he's going to hiding, and yeah, he looks very much identical to Tad Scott, the actor.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be another.
That does come into play, yeah. But yeah, throughout this whole issue is about trying to look about, figure out his supervision. So it's stuff like, reading the newspaper throughout. I love it. Can you look through the paper and tell me the headline on page 22? Not really. It's backwards. Because the way he's holding it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. The paper is on that.
So he does the next page. Right. What about the next page? So yeah, throughout all this stuff. I love this. He tries to do something about whisper something. I don't know. Make something up. Shut your dirty mouth. Just because your mom looks like two goddamn hippos making out. In other words, he just mutter like, shut your mouth. But yeah, basically this whole issue is just the whole practicing and learning about his abilities. Tries to use super breath to put it out. Whoops!
In the middle of a forest.
Yeah, and I think we better get out of here. Does the whole pulling the train and everything while he's also thinking back to when his body was failing him. And now he's at this.
Yeah, that would get you some kind of, does this remind you and that.
Yeah, so pulling the train, and yet he's thinking about how he's getting to the point where his mom needs to wash him and everything. And sure enough, he succeeds. And of course, he's just loving this. Now he's trying out flying and everything, and whoop, like actually controlling it, not just doing it on instinct like he did earlier. That's what he did earlier was instinct when he flew to his friend.
Oh yeah, like without knowing it. It's usually a recycled trope that when you're trying to realize that you can fly and then you try to do it and then you start not doing without realizing it, and then when you realize how do I control this? But
now he's loving it and he doesn't need the wheelchair anymore. But then somehow a space station, the intergalactic space station, is coming down. What the burp? But you see what I mean? No, there's such a tonal difference in just these first two issues alone.
Yeah,
Millard is most optimistic. Oh, here's another thing he once compared to. It was very Spielbergian.
Oh yeah, that could be one.
It is, and I say it is. But yeah, everything's crashing in, but he stops it. Of course, this is now when the world has found out everything. And this is where we're introduced to Madeline Knox, to which, actually, to be clear, this is where we're made clear she actually is the narrator. But we don't make it clear when in the story it's her as the narrator. But yeah, it turns out she's the Lois Lane. She's normally usually she's the highest paid anchor of her station history, but and everything. And she's also known as the invulnerable woman because she has no fear. We find out why. There is a reason why. And again, very well thought out. And yeah, everyone's just like, and yeah, of course she's like bing bong, that's one thing Lionel Francis Yu does. He does different body parts, but when he does sexy women, they're really,
Hey, it sells. That gets the people's attention.
But of course, it's still around the point when you have stuff like, what the hell's going on there? Some kind of R-word convention? Yeah. Yeah, but yep, he stopped it with very minimal damage. Look at that. Isn't that impressive? There's some damage, but bare minimum.
Yeah, that's probably that kind of that. It's
very comic booky.
Fantastical part. If a different storyteller would have made it kind of accidentally break, or do it like if you're pushing it from one point like this and pushing pressure to lift it up, it will end up bending.
Basically, he has the powers of Superior, right down to probably very much like Superman, the unbelievable control over the gravity on the item that when normally it should have split in two. In other words, it's going by the movie and comic logic where realism doesn't apply, even though it should.
Yeah, that sounds
But yeah, so they move it somewhere else, and then he's trying to do all of his. It's basically this is the super feats issue.
Yeah, show what he can do, and everyone can.
Yeah,
there's some female fan service too.
Yep, his thing is butt. Yeah, are you guys screwing with me here? And then one point he even pulls up a sub that was stranded. Could someone please get me a Coke, please? Seriously, I could really use that Coke. I've been dragging this thing for 20 minutes.
And
I think that's because he knew lifting it out of the water could probably break it, smash it. So he dragged it instead.
Yeah, but dragging it through or pushing it, and it's if you push it with the water pressures, and then when it goes out of water, then even with the fantastical stuff, and good thing I put the closest.
Yep. Now. Oh, and of course they say something like promote like, must be to promote a movie. Are you out of your mind? Hoax like this will got billions. And there's no way anyone could fake this. So yeah, he's talking, of course, with his friends still about it all. And yeah, he just feels like, again, just how wonderful his life is. And he brings up about the monkey. Basically, his name was Ormond, I should mention. And he thinks like maybe he was an angel. Turned him into it to really help because America needed help because he always prayed for the deal with his sclerosis, and his mom always prayed for America could be fixed. But, well, an angel. That's hilarious. I'm afraid I'm quite the opposite.
Now that actually we look at the innocent face and the sinister face.
Yep. But yeah,
this could actually be also be a Mixie analog.
To a degree, but once we get to the end, it's all explained. Even why he's a monkey is all explained. But yeah, now there's Tad Scott. That's the actor. And of course, people are just like, again, now he feels like, oh, great, there's this guy, real deal out there. But he feels like he's washed up, and everything. And yeah, because he lost the energy. He basically felt like, what's the point? No one cares anymore.
But
and now we're saying
he's one of those actors who is typecast for one role and doesn't have any other.
It's not even a typecast. It's the fact that he's heard what people were saying. Like Chris, Simon's friend, was saying, like, oh, who cares about these movies? They're dumb. He started just losing the touch. But now you have all this stuff. And of course, he's like, I'm 51 years old, Adam. I still got 3 surgical procedures to pay for. I recommend getting out of town. We know you've got nothing to do with this, but nobody else does. Basically, he doesn't want to get mixed up with all this. But of course, Simon's parents are so worried about him, and of course, he can't just go tell them.
Yeah, because it wasn't ever shown that he was turned into superior, and he doesn't have like the Shazam power of going back and forth.
No, he can't. He's stuck. And now Maddie pulls a Lois Lane and drives right off in to get his attention. Again, people complain about that stuff in the cartoon, My Adventures with Superman cartoon. Lois has done that before.
I know that in John Burns' Man of Steel issue. That's pretty much how he scored the interview.
Not just that, but there's also the that case she attempted it, but Clark scooped her. But yeah, so of course he said.
I need to do also watch that last episode before the next one comes on Friday. I have been doing that. I have been recording myself watching it, so I can have some footage to edit a review once all the episodes are out.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, there's the Superman reference.
Yeah,
the clearest Superman reference that you could tell that. Okay, that is a.
Choose this. Like, what's going on? Your world exclusive interview, Superior. We're about to go live on national television. You serious? Sorry I had to pull this shit, but faking an accent was the only way to reach you. What? Live in 10 seconds. So wow, she really went all out. And baseball, he goes like, because I'm a superhero. Look at the costume. Oh, I see. You're a comic book character come to life, right? That's right. So all the stories aren't just made up by writers. All those stories actually are, and some of those stories are true. Some of them. So how do you explain this perfect likeness to Tad Scott? I don't know. You have to ask him. Maybe Ted Scott got hired because he looks like me. That's a good point. Come on, you're expecting people to buy this. What's your angle? Who's funding this whole thing? Does there always have to be an angle? Again, tell you how Simon, he's the real deal and how being a bit naive, but he believes this stuff.
How does that saying go? The truth comes out from the mouth of a child.
Exactly.
It's the Finnish version, like totuus kuuluu lapsen suusta, or it's something like that.
Right.
If you ask a child something, they immediately tell the truth as how they have it, because they don't have the filter on themselves yet.
Now he's 13, I should point out. So
he's not a child, he's a teenager, but okay, he's in the
he's not that innocent age, and he's held on to this, especially after what he's been through. He's holding on to this symbol. But yeah, I love this. I was like, I'm here because I'm needed, Miss Knox. It's as simple as that. I only want to help. You have to. He then flies off, and then we're just seeing all these images. And of course, like, he's been out of date for as long as I remember. This is her explaining it again. You have to put this all into context. Superior has been created in the 1930s, a symbol of hope for the hardest times. And he's been out of date for as long as I remember. His old school values never quite squaring with the modern world and its angst-ridden anti-hero. There was always something special about that big red Boy Scout, something that reminded us of America at our best. Why did he endure? Because our country needed an unbeatable hero. Even death was impossible with those indestructible cells they gave him. Superior was created to help us through the first depression. Now he was real and getting us through the second. He didn't care where he came from. He was Santa Claus, and we were all like little kids again. But then, oh boy, and Sharpie is still harassing Chris and beating him up. But then once he tells Simon about that, sure enough, what's the matter, puke face? We miss a spot? Wham! You probably maybe threatened them, saying, how could you pick on some little kid who's just lost his best friend? You bleed again, I'm going to leave you here. You hear? I'll turn you into polar bear food. So he brings him back, but of course that ticks him off.
Oh,
yeah. But
that produces actually some kind of line that
what?
This is actually something that not something that what a hero or like what.
No, this is what the kid. This is what the kid would.
Yeah, this is what a kid would do.
Some version of Superman might do that because he has some versions. I have seen Superman do something like that. Like he would do the whole go up high, drop them, and then catch them. He's done that. If people aren't buying his big blue Boy Scout, routine.
Yeah. But what if they would even then, I would see that it's a little escalated situation. Even like if Superman were to confront the situation like that, he would probably let the bullies say something to defend their actions or try to say, okay, what we did was wrong, or we're not doing this anymore again. But if they double down on it, then he would pull a stunt like this.
Yeah, but he already knows how bad Sharpie is. So it's not the Superman wouldn't he be finding out, but Simon knows how bad he is. So he's going.
Okay, that's probably something.
Yep. Now he's going up to meet Obama. This is back when Obama was president.
Yeah, 2010.
And he's basically saying, like, you want me to go get bin Laden while I'm over in Afghanistan? But then, Sharpie's like, screw that guy. But then, there's Orman, who basically tells him, I could give you what you want as long as you just say you love Satan.
Oh, I just realized that some underlying. Sharpie is a redhead, and it borders the line of gingers have no souls.
Yeah. But so we see him actually going to Afghanistan and helping turn the tides. So clearly he is changing the world. And if we go by what's been going on in the big game, this is still canon. So what he's done here was a brief time changing the world for a brief time.
Ooh.
But he helped them out. He's actually helping change everything. And then, gathering up all the nukes. So much helping out the whole world. And again, this is all within the span of 1 week.
Yeah. It's
But yeah,
like,
so now he's going to be a little selfish, batting for the Mets at Yankees against the Yankees, playing bass for his favorite band, shooting hoops with the Knicks against the Heat. But it turns out they're Sharpie's parents. Complete and utter slobs.
Oh.
But they don't make it clear if they're abusive to him or not.
If not physically, then at least emotionally.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's going up there and everything. Meanwhile, yeah, Maddie is going to have an actual date with him. And even says, I'm going to give him the best sex he's ever had. This is the night he falls in love and tells Auntie Maddie everything.
Ooh, that choice of words.
Well, she doesn't know as far as she thinks he's a grown man.
Yeah, but is she, even if he's a grown man, does he look younger than her? And is he trying to pull some kind of...
Well, we already know that Tad Scott's in his 50s, so... And he's looking like Tad Scott, so it's in that indeterminate full-grown man age.
Okay, that's good. With the knowledge she has and the conclusions she can draw, that could work.
Yeah, but yeah, he shows up. Things seem to be, going off good. It turned out she actually did stuff with Michael Jackson. Thank you so much for getting me to tell my story, my side of the story.
Well, 2010.
Even if he had passed away, though, she did still help.
He passed away around this time.
But then while he's in the bathroom, Orman, what are you doing here? Your 7 days are up, Simon. I'm back like I promised. Don't you want to hear what this is all been about? What? I have to say, I'm impressed. In a single week, you've turned yourself from a handicapped child into the most beloved man on the planet. You're living a life that others can only dream of, right down to the celebrity girlfriend. Oh, Maddie isn't my girlfriend. She just asked me for dinner to apologize for tricking me a few days back. What you do in your own time is no concern of mine, young man. But then, if he's saying, I wouldn't give it up for the world, good! Makes you easier to negotiate. What's the matter, Simon? You want to stand on your own 2 feet again? Fly through the crowds with a beautiful girl? I'm afraid it's going to cost you, boy. Basically, in other words, he gave him a sample. And basically makes it be him, susceptible, so that, of course,
it's like a drug allegory.
A drug, but it's more like here's what you can have, but now I'm going to take it away. You're going to be desperate to have it back. You are going to want to give up your soul to have it back.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that has also worked in allegedly.
Yep, sell me your soul and I'll make you superior again. Turn me down and it's back in the wheelchair. But he's saying, give me your soul. You're the devil, aren't you? That's what this has all been about. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not fit to clean the hooves of our infernal master. I'm just a low-level demon who's been trying to keep his position after 500 years of abject failure. 500 years without a single individual choosing to sell me their immortal soul. It used to be easy back in the old days. Once upon a time, you'd be happily content and consented for a pot of gold or a beautiful girl. But now you're all worried about hell and damnation. People have forgotten how to enjoy themselves. That's why I had to be crafty this time. I can give you a taste of what you could have and then take it all away. And basically, you were desperate is why he picked him. And basically, he's giving him a choice now. I gain nothing by frightening him, old Fred. My disguise will suffice for now. So yeah, they leave him there, and he go back to your Earth and your miserable little life. She goes in there and finds him in there, and then it's all freaked out and everything. It's you're not supposed to see me like this. Hold on, what happened to Superior? But she still realizes it's you. Now, I wouldn't say I was the most maternal person in the world. Now, right off the bat, she's already being selfish, and she admits that, but it doesn't last. That's the other side I like. She's more being human, where she admits, she helps him make something to eat, and then listens to a story, and she's already saying, she admits, biggest story just landed right in my lap. Like he's giving me, he's giving me, bearing his soul, and she's already imagining her acceptance speech. It's easy to judge, but I was just doing my job. Searching cuts, reporter seeks the truth. And I couldn't, and this was the story was everything. And I just couldn't believe my luck. But then when he's on the toilet and everything, because again, just so upset, basically saying like, do I give up my soul? And she says, it's your soul. Why wouldn't you? And basically said like, I'll never another chance like this. Why do I care? I don't see my soul. What's the soul? My soul to me. I just don't want to be useless anymore. And that's when she realized it. There's a reason.
She realized that.
Well, not just that. There's a reason why these two met. She's been through hell. There's a reason she was invulnerable. She takes him to this one place. I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't come here so you can put me in hospice. I'm not putting anyone in a hospice. I'm showing you where I used to live. Turned out she had leukemia at 6 months old. Not 6 months old, at 7 years old. And spent 6 months in the hospital. Turns out, she's been through so many operations, even a hip removal, and she had a bit of a relapse a few years ago. That's why she's so vulnerable. She feels like she has nothing to lose. And basically, like, I might not be some indestructible superhero who's never going to die or get old, but I still live a life that means something to me. So in other words, she's a bit full of herself because she's living her life to the fullest. And then I love this bit. I know why you like being a superhero, Simon. You just want to be loved like they're loved in the movies. But you got that at home already. You know what I'm saying? And so he goes home. And then she claims, oh, he just left Earth. He took off. So, but everyone is so happy to see him. But it turns out the monkey was from one of the other movies.
Ooh. Or it was or was it from a movie or some demon who took its form. Yeah.
He took the form of it from Superior 3. And
so that would make it Mixespitlik analog.
Yeah.
Work.
But then but just tell you just how far gone Sharpie was always. This was inevitable where he's going. Where he was reaching it as. He's just giving him the power. And he sacrifices his parents. And even says, like, I want to check. I'm getting this for free, right? I have to sell you my soul for this or anything. Yeah, given what he's the type of evil he is, his soul would have been worth nothing. I think Orman knows that.
So that's why the parents.
Yep.
Actually, now that the red hair, the sacrificing parents.
He's like Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
But he gives it, no need for a soul, and he turns him into Abraxas. And he's going to have the power to trash everything, just to kill because he can.
Brainiac, kind of.
Yep.
Luthor armor, Metallo.
Yep.
Make augmentations and Brainiac logo.
So they're basically going to force him to take the deal, because otherwise everyone's going to die. Now, of course, Abraxas just feels like who cares. Sharpie feels like who cares. But of course, obviously, Orman knows. Oh, he accepts the deal. He deny and he refuses. You have all the fun to destroy everything. He accepts it. You're dead meat, kid. But it's no skin off my back. And sure enough, as they're running out there and everything, he accepts it. And he turns in there and even says, do what you like, boy. I got what I needed to secure my position. I'm afraid you've got a little opposition now. So, Now, of course, Tad Scott walks up and actually tries to defend the people. Why? Someone's gotta. And he's basically embracing the role that he used to love. So he's willing to make a sacrifice, and all that, because it's what his character would do.
Yeah, and looking at him, like he said, he's somewhere in his 50s, and maybe thinking, what career could he have anymore after this anymore? So better go on a high note.
Exactly, but he doesn't die, and he does buy them time and everything. And your movies are awesome, by the way. Thank you. and thus it leads to a big fight. But we also have the problem of if you cut loose in the middle of the city, which you would need to beat this guy, it would cause more damage.
Oh yes,
and then Orman turns into the Annihilator. Uh-oh.
Brainiac Doomsday.
Yep. But yeah, so again, just a big fight as they're taunting him and everything. Like, is that why you're holding back? I thought you were pulling your punches. I thought you were pulling your punches because he doesn't want anyone else to get hurt from the blows. You know, like shock waves or whatever. In other words, he's not, even as a kid, feeling a power fantasy, he still wanted to be like the hero and not make sure no one gets hurt. He's not going to be like the type of guy who's just smacking them around and just not caring about collateral damage. He's doing what he can.
Yeah, that's...
Well, let's be honest though. I'm saying that because there will be some people. It's like, I hate to bring it up, but if a Snyder cultist got, a Snyder fan, diehard fan got the Superman's powers, he would just be plowing through buildings and everything because that's what some of them see Superman as.
They pretend like Zod wasn't even there.
Exactly. They would just plow through it all and not care, but Superman would not do that. That's why I thought my problem was Man of Steel. Yes, you can say it was him in his early day, but the writing put him in that position.
There's also the writing on the villains part also and what they were doing. And there was also the world engine in Metropolis and in the Indian Ocean. They were also doing the damage before Superman even showed up.
That's why it should not have been the first movie. When you do that, you do not go that big. That's why I keep saying Brainiac is perfect. You could reach something close to that big, but you can still put it right back to normal by the end, relatively. But anyway, so yeah, they're just fighting it all out. And again, we're just seeing that Sharpie is just so damn evil. So what does he do? He even taunts his mom, Simon's mom and everything. So then he gets an idea, and he realizes what he can do. So he throws a missile at the Annihilator, distracting him. Then he takes Abraxas up into space where he doesn't have to hold back, and just takes him down hard. And then he slams him into the Annihilator, destroying it. But then Orbit just feel like 5 minutes to midnight for the deadline. I won. He even says like one soul, like a soul is worth billions of lives. And then, Maddie shows up, and he even says the kid and the girl with the childhood lymphoma. It's coming back. It's coming back to beat you, and you'll never have those kids, just like you always feared. But then she still says, "You don't own shit."
Like,
why?
What did she? What? Was it implying that
she's going to die soon? She's going to die eventually.
Yeah, but was he implying that he had that Orman had cured her from the lymphoma?
No.
He talks about her like he.
Because he's from hell. He knows where she's going. Like he could have made her a deal. I think it's basically the implication that demons can know this stuff, so they know what to dangle in front of you. But turns out he then points out though, and this is why I love this. He made this whole plan of his was futile from the start. It was the dumbest idea he could do, going with superior of all heroes. Why? He is immortal. Every cell of his is immortal. He'll never die. In other words, he just made a deal he can never collect. He'll never get his soul so long as he's superior. In fact, she said, basically, you just made a donation. And time's up. So the demons drag him to hell. Of course, then, once he's gone, he then reverts back to normal, because, without Orman there.
Yeah, and probably if he had turned back, he would probably given away the gift.
Oh, yeah.
A gift.
And he would still kept his soul regardless. Yep. Again, and I just love this. Like, are you okay? Just look at that. As far as people know, Superior died that day. easy to claim that big of a fight, but yeah, basically brought the entire world together for that moment. And yeah, she tells basically this big story that she's not going to print. And Ted Scott, he basically, especially both from what Superior did and what he did, he now basically is able to write his own ticket. And he starts getting a 5-picture deal. He feels back in the game and everything. Abraxas, always wherever the Ark of the Covenant and all that would be hidden. And basically, like, she's just, wondering what to do. But she instead, rather than doing a story about him, she tells a story about her health issues. And that gets her a Pulitzer. And then she goes out with Simon as his date to the premiere of the new movie. Although, of course, man, look at that ass. You think he's banging this chick? Totally. They're kids. Of course, they're gonna assume that.
Yeah, that's gonna.
It's obvious. It's obvious. She's more being polite and kind and saying, "Hey, you're my date."
It's like having a cake and actually not eating the cake, but you're gonna have a cake and you can make people think that you're eating it. But
but I also love this. Like, yeah, he's gotten a career resurrection. Like, I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but seriously, man, this must have been this just might be the best thing we've ever done. Oh, please, would you shut up and just watch the freaking movie as a homage to Wink? Dedicated to Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner with love and admiration. Now, Donner was alive, but it was when this happened, but it was a dedication to his movies.
Yeah, in that sense, it has aged well, as it also dedicates to, by now, to Donner's memory.
And that's it. See what I mean about all this? This is so different than Millar had been up to this point. Look at Kick-Ass, Kingsman. I mean, Kingsman was probably the more idealistic ones, but that's because Matthew Vaughn collaborated on the comic from the beginning. And we already know Vaughn was known for kind of rating Millar in. And you have that, Nemesis, so many of them where he was just too much on the cynicism. But look at this. This one, like I said, you can see the Superman, Shazam, and the Spielbergian-ness of it, and Big, and all that. So many greatness. I mean, what did you think about this overall?
Yeah, it's a good like original story that was brought up. Like you can see the inspirations taken, but also the originality in there.
Exactly. Especially Orman's plan was brilliant. Give him a week, not a day, a week, a whole week.
Because they can go like in a blink of an eye, or actually week can also go, but it's like.
But you feel it. You feel it. You lived and breathed it.
It's a blink of an eye. A week is like a dream you're having, and then you suddenly get the wake up call.
Exactly, and then not that though, but the fact is, like I said, this is a kid who really believes in the ideals of it. He did not look at being superior as the power fantasy others would see it. I mean, he would see it, but more in the regards of one, he's not going to, he doesn't have a, he's in a more better body like he used to have. I mean, you saw that. He was great at basketball and everything. So it's like reminding him of being that type of all-star, but on a much higher level, but he still wants to do to help. That's why I made the comparison. I hate to bring up those type of Snyder fans, but let's be honest. Am I wrong when I say that? Now, I'm not saying all, but you know which ones I'm talking about, right? The ones who would want the power. Yep, the ones who would want that power just to beat the shit out of people, smash through everything, and basically be like, if I had Superman's powers, I'd be an asshole. In other words, they'd be Lex Luthor. No, because you know that whole idea that Lex Luthor. Well, I compare it to Luthor because Luthor can never see Superman for what he is. That he's too good to be true. All that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what BVS was also doing.
To a degree, but I think some of the comics make it like in Burn Superman by issue 2. A computer determined that Superman was Clark Kent. Now, the scientist that worked on it said, of course that makes sense. Like, of course it does, to a machine. And he's basically like, no, he cannot fathom the idea of Superman having an alter ego. He's like, no human person with that much power do that, because he's judging him off of himself, because he knows he wouldn't do it. And you know there are people like that. The same people are basically saying, why didn't Superman do this and that? And while, yes, Superior does use it to help the world, he does it with permission from the president first. He didn't just take it upon himself to go do that.
That's, yeah.
And if you notice, he still did it restrained too, though. If you notice that, he was still restrained by comparison. Like, he didn't just go over there and overthrow everyone and everything. He just dealt with, bin Laden, who was still alive by that point, I believe, and all that. But again, just overall, and the artwork was so good.
Yeah, that I'm gonna agree with it. The art, the coloring, and everything else. Like, that's kind of style. If this will ever gets adapted to any kind of like short, like a mini series or a movie itself, I hope the animation budget for it uses a style like this. Similar to how, like I said in that if the Flashpoint Paradox and the Son of Batman, like Andy Kubert's art, it was a still images. It has some weird points of view and others, but with action sequences, those are the ones that would look great if they were.
Yes.
Moving.
Oh, get this. Millar said he would see John Cena as Superior. I believe it.
Yeah.
With this version of the character, and if he was being a bit more like, like I said, I see it. I gotta say, the fact that except for Sharpie's the only asshole in this whole story, not counting Orman, of course. The fact that and his parents, but the fact that
it's also like the road to darkness, that he was somewhat started out like we saw that he was probably neglected and emotionally abused by his parents.
Yeah,
and there was also the possibility, like if Superior didn't know or have a precognitive notions of who Sharpie it was, and went to interfere and actually acted like I said, like Superman would say, what are you doing, and then like gave him a chance to like explain or defend his actions instead of and then it would have acted
getting revenge instead of getting revenge.
The actual superhero wouldn't have acted revenge. He would probably allow the Sharpie to
explain himself,
either defend his actions or double down, and if he doubled down, then get the treatment. If he was allowed to how to say sorry and be told that try to be better in the future, apologize, then he probably wouldn't have gone through the.
Yeah, but like I said, I like Maddie, because Maddie would have been the one character that Millar could have made his typical cynical villain, and not villain, but bitch and everything, where by the end of it all, oh, she is bad. Like, no. Every time basically everything he did here, he was being contrary. He was subverting his own expectations to what he had done in other books. Every time, like, am I right? Right? Was Maddie? You would expect her to be like, oh, I'm a self-centered bitch, and I don't care what this kid says. I'm going to be like, but in the end, it's like at first, and she admits she was that way, but it didn't last. And again, the fact that she has her own reason, that she's not just this bitch for being a bitch. She's living her life because she doesn't know if she's going to lose it all again. And again, it makes sense. Diving yourself into your work when you feel you have nothing else to lose. But overall, this is one of my favorite Mark Millar books. Right up there with Red Sun.
Yeah.
He gets Superman. It's like Garth Ennis. Superman's one of the few people he gets. And what does that say still? Someone like Garth Ennis, who does The Boys, but yet he knows and understands and writes a great Superman. You wouldn't think that, would you?
Yeah, we probably wouldn't. It also comes from the balance of how much Superman you write there in a in a way that how we see Superman and how we want Superman to be as we have been seen before. But then there also like an acknowledgement of Clark Kent experiences and others.
Exactly. Now that's the one thing I'm not sure where Millar stands on Clark Kent, because I've always seen him handle Superman. I don't see him handle Clark.
That's also like people like there was actually also the like Mark Waid's Irredeemable, where he did the Plutonian.
Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait to get the book. I got that from the crowdfunding Kickstarter. I can't wait to get that in.
Yeah, I the one thing I saw about how the Clark Kent analog identity in that book, for example.
Oh yeah.
Not almost non-existent, and almost even the.
No, that was a deconstruction at its best. That was a deconstruction at its best.
Even when I read it from a website, and I remember I left this comment about the part where he had to leave it away because he tried to do the thing that where Superman or Clark tells Lois that he's Superman.
Yeah, and then she runs and tells everyone, and then he destroys like you're an idiot.
I specifically pointed out in a comment on the website that when Clark did that with Lois, he had done the prepared groundwork with both identities to build a relationship.
Exactly.
And then when the time was right, they were engaged to be married. Then he let her know.
Exactly. That's what I love about Post-Crisis. It built towards it. Basically, what Mark Waid's that whole thing with Irredeemable, it was pretty much the pre-crisis Lois of like finding out and just like, I've been living a lie. Oh my God. It's like it's all been a lie. But again, this is a Superman analog I wish we would see more of. I am so sick and tired of the evil Superman analogs, aren't you?
Yeah, I agree. This is like also a good original character. Like if people do original characters, this is basically like watch go see this. And try to recreate this. Don't copy it, but try to recreate it.
Yes. All right. Well, that's all I think I got to say on this one. Thank you for coming on this one, Pika. And we'll be seeing you all on the next one. Take care.
Bye. And may your heart be kind.